my idea. So the general story idea. So I'm having a character called Scarlett who suffers with schizophrenia and finds solitude by being submerged in water where all the voices disappear. She spends much of her time in the water as a result. Her parents recommend trying a new medication. This medication comes with many side effects, too much for Scarlett, who eventually goes to throw it out in the trash. It is here she opens the mail to be welcomed by a leaflet advertising the local swim team, which gives her a glimpse of hope. So the characters, I'll need Scarlett. So I'll need the character of Scarlett. This character will need to be okay and able to swim and submerge herself underwater, as this is the key theme throughout the film. The actress chosen for this role will also have to play convincingly the traits of someone who is suffering with a mental illness. The actress will also be able to feel comfortable with speaking dialogue, even though not a lot. This is because dialogue takes place between the mother and Scarlett with the introduction of the new medication. I'll also have to have a group of friends to play the friends of Scarlett in the opening scene when Scarlett experiences a schizophrenic episode. I'll also need the mother, who will play Scarlett's mother in the scenes between Scarlett and the mother when the introduction of the medication and the dialogue occurs. I will also need some extras to play in the film in some of the school scenes when it's proved too difficult, as when I would film in school, my classmates would play the extras. I'll also need a collection of voices to record the voices for the schizophrenic voices that Scarlett experiences. These people will not be shown on camera, only their voices will be used. Many people in my class have volunteered to do this job. Ideally, I would have a variety of voices and tones within them to show a variety and collection of schizophrenic voices in Scarlett's head when suffering from schizophrenia. The genre I'm doing for my short movie is drama. This is because as I am tackling the subject of schizophrenia, it would be inappropriate to use any other genre such as comedy or horror. In addition to this, in my AS coursework, I made an opening sequence to a movie which was the drama genre. Thus, I'm familiar with the conventions, film shots, and the ways of creating a piece of work within the genre. Schizophrenia. I've decided that my short movie will tackle the issues raised by mental illness, in specific schizophrenia. This is because I feel that there is a current stigma in society regarding schizophrenia. It's very important to me that when dealing with this issue, not only do I do it with sensitivity, but I also represent the issue as accurately as possible. Changes in the story idea. Originally, I wanted to have the character Scarlett die at the end in the pool by drowning because she could not live with the pain of the voices, but rather die in solitude and peace without the voices underwater. I also wanted to avoid the cliche of using medication in films, as this has been done extensively. But I chose to do the new medication and not have Scarlett die because I want to offer hope to patients, that it's not the end of schizophrenia, and that there can be light at the end of the tunnel, which is why I've introduced the swimming leaflet at the end. Representation. Before filming and starting my project, I believe there is an absolute necessity that I research schizophrenia before representing it, finding the issues that people face with the disease on a daily basis, the kind of symptoms that come from having mental illness, and also the symptoms that occur from taking medication to help cure the disease. Much of my research can be found on my blog. Along with this, I looked at case studies of people living with schizophrenia to understand the disease on a more personal level. In particular, I looked at one of the main medications of the disease, Abilify, an antipsychotic medication, which works by changing the actions of chemicals in the brain. I looked at the particular side effects of the medication on the patient. Location. I will be using for my location primarily my home. This is because this will be where all the conflict and story takes place, from the swimming scenes, which will take place in my back garden, to the side effects, which will take place around my house while she's doing her daily chores. That being said, I may, depending on feedback, do some filming scenes in the school. For the scene when Scarlett is experiencing the side effects of the new medication, I could show how the side effects affect her in a school environment. Filming within my house and at school, I will make things much easier, as if I was to film anywhere else, it would be much harder, especially if it was a public place, as I would have to apply for a public permit to film, and sort my filming schedule around the time of the public place. Thus, also for practical reasons, it is much easier to film in my home and at school. Challenges, filming underwater. For this short movie, will require some extra equipment and skills. I will need to have an underwater camera to film the underwater shots, or a case, which is why I bought an underwater camera case, my SLR, that will allow me to film underwater in HD. Below is the case and a picture of my pool, which I will put in after, that I will be filming in. What I did last year when I learned. Last year I made an opening sequence to a movie which focused on the past versus the present, shown through pictures. The genre was also drama, which will help me as I'm familiar with the genre and the conventions within it. I've learned many skills from this project, including planning of filming, editing, shooting, and using equipment along with working with actors. My inspiration, Another Earth, directed by Mike Cahill. Mike Cahill's films are raw, emotional, and groundbreaking. In Another Earth, his ideas challenged science, astronomy, with the possibility of there being another Earth, another you. Through his sci-fi story plot, he also managed to interweave a complex storyline with in-depth characters, a love story between Rhoda Williams and John Burroughs. In doing all of this, he also managed to keep a very impressive $150,000 budget. This happened through using software such as Final Cut Pro and plugins such as FX to make a replica Earth in the background of the shots. He did this all himself and didn't hire any crew. These simple tricks used by Cahill made his film look professional and authentic, despite his low budget. I was particularly inspired by the thought-provoking nature of Another Earth. This was particularly down to a creative and bold idea, which has not been done before. More specifically, it was done through the audio over commentary during particular scenes of scientists offering their opinion on the so-called Another Earth. This gave it a sense of documentary feel, which was not only interesting, but also added to the authenticity of the film and situation. Not only that, but the film rarely had static shots, rather had moving shots, which were sometimes even shaky. This helped to keep the audience interested, which was happening within the frame. What inspiration I'm taking from Another Earth? The cinematography particularly inspired me in Another Earth, with the backdrop of the sea filmed in New Haven, USA. I had a feeling of awe while watching it throughout. I hope to replicate this feeling of awe when filming underwater. How well Mike Cahill managed his budget is ambitious, also inspired me. His ambitious idea was achieved with a relatively low budget. He came up with smart ways of filming economically, such as filming in his grandma's house and filming the jail scenes in the lobby of the prison. He has inspired me to not let financial limitations stop me from tackling ambitious ideas, such as filming much of my sequence underwater. What I hope to achieve in 6 months. In 6 months, I hope to achieve a result which accurately reflects schizophrenia and the disease, along with a short movie that reflects my ability. This will have to be done through careful planning of my idea and not rushing through filming and editing, rather taking my time and thinking through each process involved.